Washington mulls a new train and equip program for Syrian rebels, despite the uncertain result of the previous scheme. The fear of ISIL's mayhem spilling over in the Middle East now sees Tunisia build a sand barrier on its border with Libya to try to keep the extremists out. Also ahead on RT International, 2 Muslim women are marched off a plane following a flight in America after a cabin crew member claimed they had looked at her suspiciously. Just turning midday in Moscow. Thanks for joining us on RT International. We have your latest top news headlines. A top U.S. commander has proposed relaunching a program to train and equip Syrian rebels. General Joseph Votel was questioned by U.S. lawmakers over the plan and said the new effort would not repeat the mistakes that doomed the same scheme last year. Back then, weapons given to the rebels reportedly ended up straight in the hands of terrorists, while fighters trained by the U.S. are known to have joined the al-Nusra terror group. This time around, however, Votel said fighters would not be vetted before the training, but rather their leaders would be. Washington has somewhat struggled in the past to distinguish between what is known as moderate rebels and terrorists.
Don't you need to be totally satisfied that these people are not, rampant human rights abusers and beheaders? What is it that gets them across that hurdle?
It is not. I don't think it is. I don't think we can enumerate it.
And Defense Secretary Ashton Carter admitted that identifying the fighters that are not sympathetic to Islamic State has been proving very hard.
We're trying to recruit and identify people that, as you put it, can be counted on to have the right mindset and ideology, not be aligned with groups like ISIL. It turns out to be very hard to identify people who meet both of those criteria.
The previous train and equip program was set to prepare 15,000 fighters by 2017. However, last year, the U.S. military admitted the scheme was falling well short of that goal.
Can you tell us what the total number of trained fighters remains?
We're talking four or five.
Let's not kid ourselves, that's a joke.
I think the Pentagon is trying to resurrect a dead horse. There's no way of telling who the good guys and the bad guys are in terms of the so-called opposition. These fighters primarily are out to overthrow Assad. Their intention is not to go after ISIS. Then the question is, where do you train them? Turkey is already so involved in trying to fight with the Kurds. Fighting ISIS is an after the fact for them, and so the training and then the vetting process of who would be loyal to go after ISIS is another matter. We once again have a lack of strategy in going in on this thing because it's been clearly demonstrated that these opposition forces cannot be trusted.
In the meantime, the ceasefire has been in place in Syria for almost 2 weeks, and the next round of peace talks between government and opposition delegations will be in Geneva. That's happening on Monday. Now, over the course of the 5-year-long conflict, the city of Aleppo has been one of the fiercest battlegrounds. Life there has been turned totally on its head, as you can see with these before and after pictures. RT's Lizzie Phelan visited a once grand hotel enjoyed by the rich and famous that now plays host to very different clientele.
Before the war, Aleppo used to be a tourist hotspot. It used to attract visitors from around the world. Now, its most well-known guests would have been sure to stay at Syria's oldest and most renowned hotel, here at the Barons Hotel. But in the last 5 years of conflict, it hasn't had one paying guest. Instead, it's opened its doors to some of Syria's refugees.
This is King Faisal's room, and I don't think they're here. They're almost moving. Can come. I don't know.
So this is where from this balcony, he declared...
From this balcony, yeah. From this balcony, I don't want to go outside.
The Baron's famous owner, Armin Mazoumian, sadly passed away 2 months before our visit, leaving behind his wife, Rubina.
So we go to Agatha Christie's room. the Orient Express on the terrace. But not the only one.
from
Not
downstairs.
downstairs. She suspended time sitting downstairs on the balcony. She wrote that fully over here.
Amidst a relative ceasefire, Aleppo remains one of the hotspots where fighting continues, and the future of this ancient building remains under threat. But the trove of stories about people who made history from within its walls are kept alive by Rabina.
This is a book written by Lawrence, and it is, we have the magnifying glass over there saying that I'm writing this, my letters from the terrace of Hotel Baron. And this is his bill. And a lot of journalists say that, oh, he never paid his bill is in the window. No, that's not right. And this annoyed Armin all the time. He used to say, oh, they lie, these people, they lie, and I never told them that.
It's been 5 years now that the hotel's kind of been in this situation.
In this situation.
And how does it feel for you and your husband to see such a drastic transformation?
Well, actually, he got very sick, and he was very, very annoyed with what happened. And one of the things he used to say, I used to say, why don't we close down the hotel? Let's go somewhere. They used to say, no, I will never, ever close down the hotel. It's the history, the only place that has been left that is a sort of, what can I say, a heritage place. And this is the history of Syria was written in here.
Historic artifacts furnish the hallways and adorn the walls, cracked from mortars fired from opposition-held territory a few meters down the road.
Day and night he will sit here on the terrace, cold or hot, summer, winter. He will sit here and he will say, this door will be open. 2 years ago when these people started coming and they didn't have a place to go to, and Armin said, okay, you're welcome, get some room.
Do you have any hopes then that, you know, things would get better? And
well, sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes yes. He was a bit pessimistic and I used to be optimistic. And then after he died, they liberated Nubbul and Zahra a couple of days later. I said, I wish it was. He would have been happy. Anyway. These are some of the refugees' children.
Lizzie Phelan, RT, Aleppo.